Evening, all welcome to Tactics and Dust. Right, what we're going to do today is, this is I guess a funny one really, because this is, I guess, what you would call shutting a player down. Now, you probably join these matches where you know you've got one or, well, maybe, let's say one person on the other team that you know is going to be, quote, a handful. Insert witty metaphor here. And basically, what you know is that they're going to be somebody that you've got to kind of shut down. If you're going to win the match, you've got to shut them down. So we had one in this game, and he's a good player, but he's a bit smacky, so we're not really going to name him. See if you can figure out who we're talking about. And what we basically realised is, we had a gang of 6, and we were, I think, the stronger team, let's say, between the two. So what we decided to do was to pretty much lure, I hope you love the way I pronounce that, lure the this perceived better player into the open, where we could basically smack him with baseball bats and defecate on his hopes and dreams. And pretty much that's what we did, and you'll see that in this match. Now, I got to just, before we go on to that, I miss this map. Why is it that when I play Dust, and again, let me just address a couple of points actually. People have been saying, why aren't I doing as many Dust videos as I usually do? Well, you're getting one every 2 days at the moment. I'm playing Dust relatively frequently. Apologies for using the flaylock again. I know I did say I would stop using it, but to be honest, I think the problem is that, if I just use the AR, that's not terribly interesting because it's kind of standoff kind of gameplay. So we'll see. This is, to be honest, this probably is literally the last bit of footage I've got with the flaylock now, and I think what I'm actually planning on migrating to is the shotgun. It's terrible. It's really difficult to get a kill with it. But it is fun. I do like the shotgun. It does inspire a massive amount of terror when you come across an enemy player. Let's say you run around a corner and they look up and they see a black prototype suit and they see that shotgun buzzing away in your hand. Which again, insert witty metaphor here. Basically, what's interesting is how many players literally shit a brick and don't even try and engage you. They just try and run away. And it's quite darling when a heavy does this. They won't even, the heavy with a heavy machine gun will actually try and run away rather than fire at me. So bit bizarre. Anyway, so I think, again, a lot of the challenge at the moment is I want to try and give you, there we go, prime example. I want to try and give you interesting stuff to see, basically. So, and I know I do use the flaylock a lot. Yeah, I know. But I think, it's a funny one. I think, it is a great game, and I think the frustration I have with it is that, it's been the same for quite a while now. And I know the weird thing about beta was, and again, I could be wrong, post in the comments if I've just got this completely wrong, but with hindsight, the memory of this game was it changed a lot in beta, and they did seem to do a lot more with it in beta, and I think that's maybe because they had more resources. Maybe they ran it as a lost leader, so they had more people, developing it. And now it's gone live, they have to make the numbers balance, and maybe they don't have the same focus on it. But I don't know. It's a frustration to me in a way, because I think it's becoming a very difficult game to do videos for that are kind of new. There's no court battles. There's PC is such a damp squib. It's not even funny. You've got no end of kind of nerfs and stuff going on. So it used to be able to do something like you take an overpowered gun, you do a montage of it, and you'd have a bit of fun with it. But the reality is that you knew that it was of interest for somebody to watch. I think things like murder taxi footage and flaylocks and lasers and all this stuff, it used to be quite compelling to watch. Like sitting and watching a forge gun montage is pretty cool. But watching a group of Caldari Assault or Caldari Logis, soon to be no longer, with assault rifles running at another group of people is limiting in its kind of interest. Tell me if I'm wrong. If you want to see that, then fair enough. But I can't imagine why anybody would find things like the assault rifle terribly interesting, because they're not. There's no real kind of adrenaline in using that gun. It's like, why don't do too much sniper montages? People say, do more sniper footage, and it's like, well, you've got to be careful of that, because sniping is exceptionally boring stuff. So you do need to be a bit kind of careful of that. It's a funny one. I think, you know, at the end of the day, you know, I always try and make something interesting for you to watch, and I think as of late, there is not a great deal of things kind of going on in the game. Things like the tournament coming up, I mean, that's a nice idea, but again, the problem is there's no real way to appreciate that tournament. You know, there's no spectator tools. There's nothing really that kind of enable a group of people to watch another group of people. I was also sort of questioning, well, if there's a tournament, that means commentary, right? Well, who's doing the commentary? It'll be interesting. Because the Alliance tournaments in EVE are always quite interesting with the commentary. I'm lying, actually, it's bloody awful, but I think it's funny because the commentators are usually such closet humans. They have no ability to talk to other human beings unless it's through a microphone and the old internet. So I know that's quite a controversial statement, but that was always the funniest thing about the Alliance tournaments every year, was which closet human are they going to draw out of their man cave to come talk to us this year? And it would always be some kind of Milton looking dude who apparently runs, quote, a space empire, or it would be some, you know, some CCP dude who's obviously never even heard of what the sun is. And it was funny, you know. We always used to get a bit of a kick from that because we're assholes basically. And I think that we're not going to get that with the Dust tournament. It's literally just going to be like a, you know, almost like a dodgeball contest where minor leagues run, then eventually somebody wins, that comes through, then another minor league run, and the prize, you know, what we're all fighting for, is to name planets. Yeah, where to begin with that one? I mean, it's firstly a bad idea to let any, you know, EVE players name a planet, because you know that, you know, their first 20 suggestions are going to be rejected. What was it Sarah said? Literally Planet Hitler. You know, great example. What was it I was saying? Lolbutts 20. You know, Lolbutts 2. You know, CCP Dust is Dying Prime. Whatever. Whatever is the current meme within the community will be. It's annoying because, again, I just think, you know, why would that be such a big thing? You know, I mean, are people actually going to sit there and think, right, I'm going to call this planet CO Pyrex 12? I mean, oh, fucking hell, I don't know. To me, it's like the corniest piece of shit ever. And literally, if an EVE player does name it after them, then they are just twats. Because why would you do that? It would just be like the most, you know, ridiculous thing to say and do ever. Anyway, so it's a tricky one. You know, I think, you know, to be honest, it's a bit of a red herring. I think, you know, some of these things that we try and get sold as, you know, progression, are not really. And I think on the old YouTube front, we'll keep doing what we do, and we'll certainly. I'm not going to stop doing Dust videos. I think a lot of people are a bit worried because I'm doing other stuff like War Thunder and, you know, Star Maid and stuff like that. But it's kind of a signal that I'm now migrating away from. You know, I just have to say that was funny as hell that Evolution lost his thing. That's a rare slip up from Evo. So. I still think he's the best dropship pilot in the game, and I think that was a bad example. But I think it's funny because there is definitely something to be said about, you know, the way that I think the game is being done at the moment. There's not a great deal more to show you, and I know that's crazy, but I think this is almost my 300th Dust video. Let's not forget that. So. There isn't a great deal more I can probably show you. I think probably the one bigger mission is things like the Gunlogy and maybe some of the Enforcer tanks, but I don't have the skills for it. CCP don't see the value of YouTube, so they don't provide, you know, kind of, you know, let's say, you know, high skill point characters to do filming on. They just don't do that. I think, you know, but should they do that? Massively no, because I'd abuse it. I'm kidding, of course I can. Or would I? But, you know, these are the sort of things that I think, you know, are probably going to be problematic for a while, but anyway. So we talked about shutting players down, and we didn't really show that in too much depth. But I think let me just go through it. What we're basically doing here is a lot of the time it's about leaving a spawn point in. So we try to do that, but obviously blueberries fuck that up. Thanks blueberries. But what we generally always try and do is when you see a particular player and you see a particular threat, then basically you align yourself to basically go at them. and just shut them down. So if all of a sudden out the corner of your eye across the map in no strategic position at all, you see this player, you run at them and get the squad to run at them. And basically this is a concept of mobbing, and it works incredibly well. When we find like there's, we can't really do it against enemy squads. So when a squad of baddies come in, it's very difficult to do this because obviously they have equal numbers. But every so often you'll come across a player who is obviously running solo and you think, right, we need to shut that guy down. And to be honest, what we generally will do is we will just go after them. If they get in a tank, then everybody switches to AV. You just want to literally push these players to the point. And the beauty of it is, and the ultimate goal, and what we found particularly in the matches of what we're talking about, is that player will leave. They will actually just get to the point where their KD ratio is suffering, and they will drop out of the game. And naturally, that's when we rejoice. We crack open a cold one and we sit there and laugh because, hey, we're complete dicks. I would recommend it. I really would. I think a lot of players do this already. I get this. If I ever run solo, which I do from time to time, what I find is I find that I'm genuinely being chased. If unfortunately somebody maybe recognises the name, which again is happening a little bit often now. Which sucks because I basically get mobbed. So all of a sudden I find I've got a team of 6 people maybe following me, looking for me, killing me. And I like the challenge because I think, again, this is exactly the kind of gameplay I yearn for in the game, is that desire to, basically, almost like with only your wits around you, what can you do? How can you win? You can take on, a particular group of people, and I'm always surprised at how often I usually get outnumbered, but I still relatively win. And by relatively, usually I'll die a couple of times, but, the reality is that when you're being chased, it's very easy to evade and then set up traps. So run around a corner, and then for some reason they follow you blindly, and then you just literally walk them into a flux grenade, then shoot as the flux grenade goes off, and by the time they realize what's happening, you're teabagging them. So it's a funny one, it really is. I think definitely worth analysis. And I think hopefully from that map there, we sort of showed again just the ability to shut a player down. Even somebody who's a very good player, you can still basically shut them down. Well, there we go. Hope you enjoyed that. We are going to continue to do Dust videos. Don't worry, we will always do Dust. I think it's still a great game. I would just love to have some sort of feeling that the game is progressing, though. So I think let's just see what 1.3 brings, and certainly 1.4. And I think if you're playing Dust at the moment and you're getting a bit fed up with it, don't lose faith. It is a good game, and I think it will stand the test of time. Okay. Hope you enjoyed that. See you next time.